E la prima cosa che devo fare è prendere il fadale. The first thing that we need to do is to put on the fadale. Today the sun has been peeking in and out. It looks like it's going to rain. It might not rain. But here in Elena's Cucina, it's all about being positive and also being happy. Alrighty, this dish, it's a family dish. Interesting because depending on what part of Italy you go, the bracioles, they change. So I am going to show you this amazing, delicious meal that is from my family, and this is the way that my mom would make it. But I also going to be, so this is going to be a stuffed braciola and vegetables with fruit cups. Yes. So, but the first thing I'm going to show you is how to make the filling that's going to go for the meat. But before I do that, we got to get the meat ready. So what I have here is, sometimes this is done with flank steak, but you know, whatever is on sale, and that's how my mother always shopped, whatever was on sale. And what I have here is round, like top round, and my butcher thinly sliced it. But what I want to do is I want to take this, let me move it over here. That's why I have all these papers. I have already done this to that, so it goes from a small one, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. So I'm going to put this on the side over here. I have my board over here. I am going to put the paper down because I really don't want my board to get, to get yucky. So it starts out like this. Okay, then we are going to put, and what I have here is wax paper, and then what I do, guys, if there is a little fat on the sides, I kind of remove some of the fat, because in that way it'll stretch, because if you don't remove the fat, it's going to bring it back and it's not going to stretch. So I'm going to put this down. Can you guys see this? I have a lot going on here, but I'm going to take you step by step because this dish is delicious and it's all in one skillet. All right, so what I want to do is I'm going to start at the ends. I'm going to use this part, not this part, and I'm going to start at the ends. And I am pushing out as I am going. You know, my mom, she didn't have one of these in Argentina, because that's where I spent 13 years of my life. And I would watch her. She would take a hammer, or sometimes a brick, whatever worked. And if you're upset, this is really good to get your aggressions out. Yes. All right, so then now what you have is, let me remove this. I'm done with this. We got this with this. We have so much going on here. We are full. I am going to take this guy over here, and I am going to add him to the rest of my wonderful pounded round steaks. Now, these can also be milanesas, and there is on my YouTube channel, if you subscribe, there is a milanesa that I show how to make that. But we're going to be utilizing this for the braciola. So now that we have this, I'm going to put that to the side. Always make sure you take your meat out 15 minutes before you do anything, guys, because that way it'll come to room temperature. So I'm going to save this as for when I show you how to do the rest. All right, so what I have here is that I have a cup of rice that I just cooked, and I'm going to get myself a bowl. So it's for 1 cup, make sure it's very well drained, 1 cup right here of white basmati rice. You can utilize any rice. Hello, beautiful people. Hello, Myra. Hello, I can't see all of you beautiful people, but hello, I don't have my glasses on. So right here, it's the 1 cup right here of basmati rice, any rice you have. To this, I'm going to be utilizing a 3rd cup of pecorino romano cheese, because I'm not going to use salt, because pecorino romano cheese is salty. And I also going to be utilizing a 3rd cup of a provolone cheese that I bought in a chunk, and I grated it. Because, you don't have to add eggs, because you're probably wondering how is this going to hold. It works. Then what I have here is I have 2 cloves of garlic that I have minced very, very fine. Actually, you know, I have one of these, but you know what? I started with this. I don't feel like doing too many dishes today. Hey! Okay, don't get me started with the dishes. It's okay because my husband helps me a lot. Now, so remember, we have the two minced garlic. To this, I have a good heaping teaspoon of granulated garlic that's going to go in there. Let me get that all in there. To this, I'm just going to do a little bit of black pepper. You know, you can do as little or as much as black pepper as you like. Very simple. So this is a very easy thing. Now, to this right here, guys, I have 2 tablespoons of breadcrumbs that are going to go here. I am using Italian gluten-free. What I do is I buy the bread itself, you know, and then I grind it myself, and then I add the rest of the seasonings depending on how I want my Italian breadcrumbs to be. All right, so now what I have here is I'm going to be utilizing, I'm going to be needing 2 to 3 tablespoons of basil, but also with my basil, and my mom would do this, she would also add some wonderful fresh oregano. And I just went to my garden and I just picked all of these. So right now I gotta dish up my oregano because I put it all together here. Because that's how I felt today, and that's okay. Hey. All right, so I just want to bunch it all up. So what I want to do here is I want to take my wonderful fresh oregano. You know, my mom, we grew everything. You know, I was born in Italy, in this beautiful land, and then, you know, when we moved to South America, the first thing that my father did was to start a garden, and we grew everything. And our neighbors, you know, they had the livestock, and you know, and everybody shared. So if an animal was slaughtered, and if we had eggs and they didn't have eggs, we would give them eggs. Everybody shared. How nice, right? How nice. All right, so what I want to do here is this zucchini. Look at this beautiful organic zucchini. The zucchinis that we will grow in South America were a lot smaller. So this one is a big one, so I'm only going to be utilizing a big one. But I'm not there yet because I'm not going to be there yet. All right, so, but before I chop this, I want to bring your attention to my cast iron skillet that I have here. And later what's going to go in here is a half of chopped red onion. I also have here some a jalapeno because we got to have that spice. I have removed the seeds, but we want to have that tasty flavor. I have 2 tablespoons of olive oil here, and I have 6, you know, little potatoes that I have cut up, and I also have a half a butternut squash that I have cut up here. I have some toothpicks that I'm going to be needing, and I also going to have my zucchini, which is going to go over here, and then I have a 32 ounce of my marinara sauce. Now, because we have to get moving over here, we are going to chop the parsley. Because, you know, in this part, a lot of the different families would do them differently. Some would put a lot of parsley, some would use a lot of other different things. Again, depending on what region of Italia you're going to go. But questi si chiamano braciole all'uso nostro. What did I say in Italian? I said, these are braciole, you know, our braciole. I am a Calabrese. Now, if you get somebody that is from Sicily, they're going to be making the braciola differente. But that's okay, because you know what? That's what makes everything so wonderful, you know. We can learn so much from each other. All these different cultures, all these different foods. And you know, and parsley is so high in antioxidants. And it's so wonderful. Wonderful. And all of this is what this is the stuffing, guys. We haven't even started with the sauce yet. Because we have to start with the stuffing. Because without the stuffing, there's no braciola. You know, there's also another kind of a braciola, and you will find it also on my YouTube channel. And it's a very different one, and it's done with ground beef. So this one, you're mixing it like that. Now, you can add a lot more parsley, depending on, you know, how you like it. But I'm not going to be utilizing a lot of the parsley. Now what I want to do is I want to bring my meat. So I'm going to bring I'm going to bring this down because I don't want to mess my board, okay? So then I'm going to bring my steak right here. Let me move things out of the way. And I'm going to get this tablespoon, and I'm just going to put it right in the middle there, you know, away from the sides. And then I am going to, you see what I'm doing here? I'm going to pull this, I'm going to go over this, and I am going to roll. Oh, you know what? Aspetta uno minuto. Oh my goodness, I'm washing my hands because I have gloves. So then that way, after I'm done with the with rolling these guys, I like to put on gloves when I'm doing this because then that way I don't cross-contaminate anything. You know, and it's interesting because all this cross-contamination thing, I don't remember my mother ever putting on gloves, my grandmother, or any of my aunts for that matter. So, but I'm going to do it in this case because I don't want to, you know, disappear on you and then come back because I need to wash my hands. So I just want to keep this. And these gloves, here, let me take my ring off. See, if it's a guy, he doesn't have rings, you know. But you know, as us girls, we like to look pretty. Gotta have fun, guys. You know, I really enjoy cooking. It's just so calming to me. And we are listening to nice, you know, calming music to keep us even more calmer. So then what we want to take is we want to take these guys and we want to roll these guys. And then what we want to do is I want to take a couple of these toothpicks and I'm just going to put them over here. And then I want to come in here. And you see what I'm doing? Where it laps like that, I am just going to keep it like that. So I'm not going this way, I'm just going like this. Now I am going to start my temperature here at about medium high. And what I want to do is I want to add maybe a tablespoon of the olive oil. I just want to see, I want to see how it plays out. You know what, I'm going to use the whole freaking thing. And then if I want to, then I can take some more with this little guy. All right, so then what I want to do is I want to put this guy to the side. And then we're going to come back with the next one. Okay. Again, we're going to put it in the middle. We're going to fold this over like so, like that. And then we're just going to roll it. And then we're going to come in here. Where is that part right here that meets that? And we are just going to put the toothpick. The toothpicks, you know, after it's done, we are going to remove them. So that's that. As you can see, this is moving really quickly because then we have to make it a sauce, you know. And my mom, you know, everything is with flavor with my mom. My mom always liked a lot of flavor. So now here comes the next one. You know, and some people say, oh, you know, were the Sicilians that created this? Oh, no, it was these. You know what? Whoever created, thank you. Thank you, because it's probably was some type of a grandmother that was, you know, that had nothing, and all she had was these things, and this is how she created this. God bless those people that created with these wonderful recipes. You know, and like I said, every household is different, because my grandmother will make it different, and my mother will make it different, and my father would do them different. Hey, how interesting. And then my other grandmother, she would make it different as well. So as you can see, this is, like I said, very simple, very easy transaction. It's not a very expensive meal, but it's a very healthy and wonderful meal for us. And then what I want to do is I want to start putting these guys down because I want to brown them. I got my last one right here, moving right along. And then whatever I would have left over this, it will go to stuff something else. You know, we just love to stuff stuff. So what I want to do with this, guys, is I'm done with this now. Now I can remove all of this, keep it nice and clean. Put that down. I'm going to take my gloves off now because now I can take them off. And then what we want to do over here, let me remove this plate. I have another plate over here because I'm going to be taking them out after I brown them. And we don't have to tent them or anything. Right now, I just want to brown. I just want to brown them. And that's all I want to do in this beautiful olive oil. Because these guys will continue to cook after I show you what we're going to do next. Okay, so what we want to do is just like, we're going to be browning them. They don't have to be perfectly browned because they will cook. Now I'm going to remove them. I'm just going to remove them right now. Very simple, very easy. And right now these guys are on sale. And now we got those little bits in there, and that's exactly what I wanted. To those bits, now I'm going to add my onions. We got this over here. I want to get all my onions. Because now we're going to build the sauce. And this is not a spaghetti sauce like you would think a spaghetti sauce would be. Now I'm going to add my jalapeno. My jalapeno goes right in here. My beautiful jalapeno with my beautiful red onions. Done with that. Going to get the rest of my olive oil that I want to just really get in there because I'm using 2 tablespoons of olive oil. No salt goes in here. Because remember, a lot of the salt is in there. Now you can add the salt if that's what you choose to do. Alright, so I'm just going to sheepily these guys. Oh yes, because what I want them to do is going to get the bigger one. I just found these guys to kind of break down a little bit. I'm not really looking for... what I want to do is I want to build the flavor. So I'm going to turn this down now, guys, because we don't want anything to burn. So again, this is a half an onion chop. And this is 1 jalapeno that's going to go in here. Then what I want to do is I want to come over here and get my zucchini. I'm going to remove this little part of the zucchini out. And I'm just going to move just a tiny little bit of that out. And then what I want to do is I want to keep my vegetables the same size. And that's what I've done here, guys. Okay? Because all of these potatoes that are all going to be going in here. And then what this is how big I have them to kind of, so they all cook together. Now the zucchini, because it cooks faster, I'm going to cut them in bigger chunks. Like that. See, like that? And I have washed mine. Okay, so now it's starting to, it smells so good here. And we haven't really done much. Okay, so now I am going to have my sauce that I'm just going to add in here, just like that. This is, again, marinara sauce. There's no onions or garlic or nothing. It's just tomatoes, really, guys. And that's what it is. When tomato season, every tomato season, I make a lot of jars. I make a lot of stuff. So now that they have this beautifulness, I'm going to bring this to a much higher temperature. And then what I want to do now is I want to come over here and I want to bring these wonderful little guys, and I'm just going to nestle them in there. Nestle them in there. My mom, sometimes she would do it only in 1 pan and, and add the vegetables. And that's how I learned. And I'm also going to add all the juice because why not, right? Why not? And then what I want to do now is I want to add my potatoes. And I'm going to add my potatoes because it's all going to cook together. It's all going to cook because you have your meat, you have your potatoes, and you have your vegetable. You have this beautiful butternut squash. And let me tell you something. Tomatoes and butternut squash, oh, mamma mia, che bellezza. They are wonderful. So I want to get these, I'm putting them in here, like that. Nestle them all in there. Because this is going to take a good, 20 minutes. And and then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take these guys and put the bigger boys in there. They have their own water, the zucchinis. And the zucchini, it goes delicious with this. And I cut them in chunks. And I'll be right back. I have to go get the topper. Because what we want to do is we want to cover. Now, depending on how much time you have, you can cut the pieces smaller. But the meat has to cook in this beautiful sauce. And then how it's served is served with the sauce. It's not served. Now, you could have pasta, but my mom never served it with pasta. Because she always had these beautiful vegetables, you know, that we grew in our garden. So whatever was in season and she wanted to make this is what she would use. And right now in season we have the zucchinis, we have the butternut squash, and of course we have the delicious potatoes. So now this is wonderful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rinse this out because I worked really hard for this, and I'll be right back. So we're going to add a little bit of more water just to kind of rinse it out. How much water? Maybe a third of a cup, and that takes care of that. Something happens in here that creates a flavor. The meat creates the flavor with everything that goes in there. All right, so now I have brought this to a boil. I'm going to have a little bit of black pepper. Add some black pepper in here. I'm just going to cover this baby up. And I am going to let that rock and roll. I'm going to put this to the side, remove all of this. I'm going to turn my board over because what I'm going to do while this is cooking is I'm going to show you a super easy kind of, fruit bowl. And the thing is, Italians, let me reiterate, because not all Italians, in my family of origin, we would use a lot of fruit, but it was always for something else. So what I have here is I have blackberries, I have strawberries that are in season, blackberries that just now came on in season, and I have a blackberry bush that's doing wonderful. Look how beautiful that is. And then what I have here is pistachios, almonds. Let me get all this stuff out of the way so you guys can see. And I have orange right here. So the fruit is for me. Now, it doesn't have to be this fruit. It could be another fruit that you like. But in my case, I'm utilizing blackberries, orange, and also I have mint, and I also have here strawberries. So what I have done is I took 2 oranges, okay, and then I used my knife and I went around the edges, and then I removed the membranes, and I chopped it up, and it's right here. And then these are the little pops that go to the oranges. Aren't they cute? So what I want to do is I want to bring my plate over here because I am just going to be making a couple, just 2, just because it's my husband and I. Now, if for some reason it breaks like this, don't worry about it. There's way too many things to be worried about. So I'm just going to put this like that and like that, just like, because it's always it's so nice to always have something, like a dessert. So a lot of times, that our desserts, in the way when I grew up, it was not in like the desserts that you would think, a lot of chocolate, a lot of that. I didn't grow up with a lot of that. I grew up with a lot of fruit. So how I want to do the fruit is I want to take this. Oh my goodness, these are so good. I have to have one. I have been dying with these. These are so delicious. And then what I do is I take it and I cut it in half. Simple as that. And another thing too is when you keep them in glass, fruit lasts longer. It doesn't like plastic. So when you bring your fruit home, don't wash it. Put them in glass bowls. Put them in the coldest part of the refrigerator, and put sometimes I will put a paper towel, and it will absorb and it will last longer. So I have that over here. My strawberry, I'm going to do the same thing. And one thing is what, we always, well, not always, but most of the time, I always add nuts to the fruit. And this is, it's just something that I grew up with. We would always finish our meal with fruit and nuts. Yes, fruit and nuts. So because this is going to be lunch and also probably will be dinner, is that I wanted to create this and show it how it's all done. So what I have here is I have a little bowl here. Now, depending on how many people you have, depending on how many of these wonderful little things, but if you want to impress, this is a very nice way of doing it, right? So then what I want to do here is I just want to take let me just take a tablespoon here of the strawberries, because I tell you this, anything that's left over, guess what? It could be used for something else. It could be breakfast, it could be other things. Couple of tablespoons of that, couple of tablespoons. My husband is a type 2 diabetic, And we don't have orange a lot, but when we do have orange, it doesn't have to be an entire orange. It could just be a little bit, okay? So it doesn't really shut up the glycemic index. And I'm going to do the same thing to this. Very easy transaction. I still have my mint. I'll show you what I'm going to do. In the meantime, let me go check on this guy. Oh, they're doing wonderful. It is really rocking and rolling here. Let me turn it down. I might be able to show it to you how it's finished. It is looking beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It just has such a beautiful, taste. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of mix this together like so. What I want to do over here now is I want to come over here and I want to do some mint. Mint is always very good because it not only it's a nice it helps digestion, but it also it gives you a nice minty fresh breath. So now we're just going to mix this like so. Very simple transaction. We are going to get the little cups like that. I'm just going to get my cups, fill my little cups with this beautiful mints. And they're so cute. They're just so cute, these little cups. Look how cute these little cups. Aren't they cute, these little cups? And then because, we have the mint, I'm just going to add a little, just like a little, like, just do like, hold on a minute. This little guy wants to come out. Hey, you stay right where you are, okay? Hey, no. Come back here. You're not going on the floor. Something like that. So then I'm going to get this over here, and I'm going to put this on the side. I'm going to do the same thing over here. And of course, we got to finish it with the nuts. Because, you got to have the nuts. There's just something about, it's something that I've always had it in my family. We've always ended our meal with nuts and fruit. Okay, and I'm done with that. So now what I want to do here is that I have some pistachios. And I am just going to add a few pistachios here, pistachio there, a few little pistachios. There we go. If it gets on the floor, if it gets on the, you could actually decorate it a little bit with the pistachios if that's what you like. And then I have some sliver almonds because almonds are so good for you. Some in here, some in there. And then I'm just going to bring my little, my wonderful mint over here, just to kind of make it even more prettier. I just like to make things pretty. And it's just a very simple thing, guys. Just a very, very simple thing. You see that? It's very, very simple. So now we have our little fruit cups. And now I am going to check on my wonderful dish here. Oh, yes. Look at these. Oh, wow. Now this sauce, you can save this sauce, you can freeze this sauce for another day, and they're not quite done because they're going to going to start, breaking down in the meat, and it'll be nice and tender. And then the way that you would want to serve this is you would serve some potatoes, and a couple of zucchinis, and a couple of these beautiful stuffed braciole. All right, guys, that's all I have for you because this is going to take a little while for it to cook because the meat has to cook. But this is a wonderful, delicious meal. This is my stuffed braciole and vegetables with fruit cups. I want to show you, I'm going to end here with my fruit cups because I'm not going to be able to pick this up, but at least I'll be able to show you the fruit cups. Look how beautiful they look. Aren't they? Look at that. Look at that. And isn't that tasty? Look at that. Look at that. All those vitamins. I want to thank everyone. Thank you so much, guys. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.